Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. Well, today is the last day of the month, and I'm not hearing any sound. What's with that? Oh, did we restart the machine, perhaps? No, I don't think that's that. No, it's right there. The Focusrite just wasn't connected. There we go. All right, so what do we got going on here? I think this is an interesting setup today. Well, the treasuries are higher. Now yesterday, oh no, wait, am I not? Hold on, what's with this? That's the 26th. Today's the 27th. So my Ninja Trader's not actually getting data, is it? It's not actually, oh, what do you know? It's not, the light is not green. Let's try this. Come on. Come on. You can do it, Ninja Trader. You can do it. That sound when Ninja Trader connects that doo-doo-doo, that's like, it's a great sound. It really is. It's a good sound. Let's chill her for a second while it's loading. You know, I didn't think anything of it because my data in Ninja Traders was just fine. All right. So, yesterday, we had an auction that went well, and we had risk off in the equities. So the treasuries are a little bit higher. And I don't know, do we need to zoom out here? I don't know if zooming out here is really going to do a whole lot. So maybe we need to come over to, oh, come on, don't do that. To this chart right here. There you go. And we are approaching some of those highs now. Or what I would say the higher end of the range of the past year, essentially. Okay. This was like, oh man, what was this? I don't even remember. It was in the April of last year? Or was some sort of crazy risk event that happened. I don't remember what it was. But, I seem to recall it having something to do with oil too. Anyways, maybe it was like war with North Korea or something like that. Anyways, we're getting up there, and by the way, we're like above all of the moving averages and everything. So like the thing that's been interesting is even when we were down here, there was like record shorts on the treasuries. Now we're all the way up here, and it's kind of like But, like, here's the thing. The reason that we're up yesterday, S&P 500 took a bit of a dive after jumping really hard on NVIDIA. After that, they started selling. And here in the overnight, you can see some even more selling. And I'm kind of thinking, well, if we go back to the beginning of the month, I guess this is a down month. I don't know if... You know, if we had really been up, then I would say, hey, the rebalancing that happens at the end of the month would have to be a sell, right? But that's not really the case. But it does seem to make sense that if you had to sell at the end of the month, that you would wait for Nvidia to report their earnings to do it, because that'll pump the price up and then you give you a better sell price and then you can sell it. You know, so first I kind of thought maybe that's what was going on, but then it doesn't. I don't know if it kind of fits in with like what the overall action for the month was. So whatever the reasons are, we are down in the overnight. We'll see if the S&P is able to pull something out over there. Now in oil, oil is coming back up. So they did have negotiations with Iran, but it kind of looks like it was kind of, it didn't really come to any kind of real conclusion. Like they all talked, like said the right things, like said positive things after it. But it sounds like that Donald Trump is going to go back together with his cabinet and everything and talk about, oh, okay, so now how do we feel about invading Iran? It's like, so it looks like that the geopolitical risk premium in oil has come back like overnight. Oh yeah, also yesterday there was a draw on oil, kind of suggesting that demand was higher than we thought. So there's also like a little bit of, you know, that for a while they were saying there's a supply glut. Well, that can't be the case if there's a draw. So then we come over to gold and silver. Gold spiking this morning. Silver spiking this morning. Copper was up overnight too. So now that's interesting. So the money is coming out of the equity markets and moving into materials themselves, huh? The Japanese yen, it doesn't look like there's been too much of a development in there. The dollar kind of been all over the place, to be honest with you. And the Bitcoin, well, they had a good move up there, but it's already come back out. So it was going back to the Zero Hedge thinks that it was just Jane Street that was keeping it down. I'm sure that they're trading it, but I don't think that explains it. So now, while we've been talking there, the treasury's come back pretty hard. Let's see here. Did I miss anything? No, because the equities are down too. So it is sell all the things, huh? Well, let's make sure our levels are on here. We'll load it after the open. Get something a little better there. Actually, on this one, did I clear it correctly? Okay. All right. So we're already past the extended session. Oh, okay, that was the extended plus session +1. Now we're coming down. Oh, now this is going to be an interesting. I'm curious to see how you're gonna read all this with the volatility levels, Uzi, because this is the first time I can think of where we're up on the extended session, but down on the regular session. So there's got to have been in here a headline or something, because there's definitely some like clicky click movement happening. Amazon able to tailor OpenAI models for use across AI products. Expected to begin delivery 2027. Scaling AI for everyone. Amazon to start with an initial 15 billion. Okay, so almost everything on my news squawk is about a partnership between OpenAI and Amazon. But SPOOs aren't really moving that much. Well, I guess they are up a little bit. I don't think enough to explain why the treasuries came down 5 or 6 ticks, though. Let's come back. We did have some news releases, right? PPI month over month was spot 5 versus spot 3. Oh, well, that would... But why didn't they... Oh, I see. So when I came in, the news had already happened. They pushed down, we came back, and now they're pushing back down. I think that's what must be. And what about... Okay, so that was PPI. What about core PPI? Core PPI month over month was spot 8 versus spot 3. Wow. Okay, that's an alarming number. And why do we continue to see it on PPI? Oh, no, wait. Yeah, why is it that we continue to see it in PPI and not CPI? By the way, we got Chicago PMI today. Remember that's the one that goes out early to subscribers. Okay. The guy whose name I can't pronounce says, "Where can I buy this, Dom?" It is Jigsaw Day Trader. If you go into the video description, I have an affiliate link. Okay, so the news puts us in an even more interesting situation, doesn't it? And I think one of the things is that, well, of course, we're getting like the AI trade unwinding a bit here. That's probably one of the big drivers. Also, I think we're seeing deleveraging because software companies are kind of coming back. Software as a service companies are kind of coming back. And you're seeing like deleveraging across the board from that. And then there's been a bunch of noise with private credit. So are those things matter more to buoy the treasuries than that PPI that we just got? Wasn't able to put my eye drops in this morning, so my eyes are probably going to be super watery. Let's read the Zero Hedge story about this. U.S. producer prices came in hotter than expected in January, with the headline PPI rising 0.5, higher than the revised 0.4 in December. And this left producer prices up 2.9% year over year, hotter than expected, but below December's 3. Under the hood, we're seeing a surge in services costs, which are not top tariff related, while energy saw deflation. Oh, that makes it even worse, doesn't it? Core PPI surged spot 8 month over month and is up 3.6% year over year, both hotter than expected, the fastest pace of price increase since March of 2025. The bottom line is that this will likely lead to a hotter than expected core PCE print, something the Fed watches closely. Yes. Well, that's a very curious and unexpected for sure. Now, sometimes I wonder, how does YouTube decide when to send me new viewers? But today it decided to send me viewers from China. So welcome to the stream. We're glad to have you, even though I have no clue what you're saying. Well, they've recovered. Let's just let this play out. I think it's incredibly uncertain, but we might get a good trade here. So let's just see. ZB is seeing quite a bit of buying through this. I think we're going to get some interesting action here, even though I don't think I have a good handle on which way it's going to go. Is using gamma exposure useful? So here's the big caveat. I always put this caveat at the end. I want to put it at the beginning today. The big unknown in any trade is, what are the future orders going to be? That's the thing that really makes you money. You get in, and then the combination of the market and limit orders and what orders get submitted and canceled and everything determines whether the instrument go up or down, right? So ultimately, if you can predict those orders, that's how you can make money, right? And maybe you're not directly intending to predict the orders, but if you make a trade and you make money, it's because those orders went in your favor, okay? So a bunch of market orders can come in at any time, right? That's a big unknown. And what's already out there, the existing positions, are kind of more the lay of the land, right? So what that means is you're unlikely to really get a strategy that from that lay of the land sort of thing, that that one thing is what makes you. Okay. Because unless it's something that predicts the market orders. Okay. But as it goes with the sorts of things that you can look at to kind of analyze their current situation and get an idea of the lay of the land, looking at the options and gamma exposure being one facet of that is absolutely probably one of the best things you can look at. Okay. And especially if you're trading the S&P 500, that's all you got. One of the few things that you actually got. So you should absolutely be looking at that sort of thing when you're trading the equities. Now, right now, because we just had the options expiration, and then we got end of month flows, which are going to be probably the largest driver today. There's probably not a lot of gamma on right now. to really affect things. But, there are some services that you can buy. And those do help you. Those do help. You're probably not going to make money just off of that service, but they do help. I just translated that Chinese for fun, and it says, what is this live broadcast for? This live broadcast is for Seth to just make a fool of himself on the internet, I think. I don't know. Actually, what we do is we trade, and I talk about the things that are driving the market that day so that you can better understand why markets behave the way that they do. And if you're trading, then that might help your own trading. And if you're not trading, it still helps you understand the world and might be entertaining. And, then you know what's going on. So Seth trades so that you don't have to. Because if we're honest, most people aren't going to make money from day trading. I wouldn't recommend it as a lifestyle. But some of us are just, that's what we love. So, yeah. Hmm. Okay. So, what was just coming over to the news squawk was a report basically that the IEA doesn't really know what Iran did with its nuclear material that it had at its refinement sites. So that's kind of interesting. Why that would come up now, I'm not sure what to make of that, to be honest with you. I'm wondering. Well, it's from the IEA, so maybe it's just a coincidence. So I'm sitting here thinking, well, why would that be reported now? Has me a little concerned because going into the weekend, it's always got to be, is there going to be a war with Iran this weekend? That's I remember when they told us Iran could never build nuclear weapons after our last bombing of them, so much for that. Yeah, happy possible war with Iran day. So here's my understanding of the situation. They were able to look at the site afterwards, which kind of suggests to me that maybe they had somebody on the ground or something. However it was that they determined this, it's super, super secret how they did it. And it appears, or what they found was that the refining facilities were irreparably damaged. But then they later admitted that most of the nuclear material at question had already been removed. So as I understand it, Iran still has the material. They don't necessarily have a way to make the rest of it in order to have a bomb. But it could be possible that they already have enough for a bomb. I don't know. That could also be a thing. So, but I do vaguely also remember, the propaganda line at the time that was kind of like, well, I wouldn't necessarily put too much stock in that. That, like, they'll never be able to build a bomb. And the thing that really changed, I remember the day that the headline came out too, because I was like, this seems like a big deal, and not really seeing a whole lot of hubbub on the internet about it. But yeah, I remember when they admitted that most of the nuclear material had been removed before the strike. So what you're gonna do? I don't know. Every weekend is a holiday anymore because of it. Happy possible week, possible way day. Wait. I don't know, man. At least I'll get Chick-fil-A tonight. Ugh. Man, I don't know, Uzi. That sounds like something only a fascist would do. Eat Chick-fil-A. That's... Dude. You know what? As I sit staring at all the Iran war imminent spaces on Twitter while I eat. Okay, like, I think the whole Chick-fil-A thing is really fascinating. First of all, how do they make that chicken so juicy? Like, it really, when you bite into that chicken, it really tastes like they took a syringe and injected it with water after cooking it. You know what I mean? Like, it is just, Apparently, the way that they do this is they have like a fryer, like a pressure fryer. So, like, they put the chicken in with the oil, and then it's pressured. And so the oil, like, gets pushed into the chicken. Isn't that crazy? And that's why Chick-fil-A chicken is so good. Second of all, I always get the best service at Chick-fil-A. I hope it always stays like that. The people that are working at Chick-fil-A are taught to have the highest standard for service. They take excellence seriously, and I always make note when I see somebody doing something excellent. Okay. But then the other thing is that I have seen so much hate, if I could put it that way, spewed towards Chick-fil-A because the owners of Chick-fil-A have donated to conservative causes, and particularly to, like, anti-gay marriage initiatives and things like that. So a lot of left-leaning people will say, that it's immoral to eat Chick-fil-A. And many years ago, I remember when I was still working for well, I don't know if I was working for Goldman at the time, but back when I still worked downtown, so like 2015 to 2019 time period, you know, there was some pretty dedicated anti-Chick-fil-A campaigns, but it kind of feels to me like everybody has forgotten it, and it hasn't really affected Chick-fil-A in any way. It seems to me like that chicken is just so gosh darned good that nobody cares. I've never been to Chick-fil-A. We don't have it here in Germany. It's just a really good chicken sandwich. Okay. There's not even anything particularly special about this sandwich in terms of like what you put on it. Like we have this thing that's becoming more popular here in Utah, although we definitely didn't start it. That is kind of more like a spicy chicken sandwich. So you get a big chicken patty. Well, not patty, like fried chicken. It's like a full fried chicken breast on there. And then they usually have like red cabbage on it or something like that, and fry sauce. And it's spicy, and those are really good. Like there's a place in downtown called Dirty Bird. They have them elsewhere, but when they opened the one downtown, every time that I went there, the line was out the door and around the block. Like it was just, people loved it. It was great. Whereas Chick-fil-A is just a really great fried chicken sandwich on a bun with lettuce. They also have crisp cut fries, which is great. Those are amazing. I don't care about the political stances of companies. I wouldn't care if a company's logo was a legit swastika if I enjoyed their product. I mean, when I think about it, I do not feel the same way. I think that it would have to be a really amazing product for me to want to support somebody that puts literal swastikas on their product. But if that was Chick-fil-A, I probably would. Chick-fil-A is good enough to justify that. I don't particularly swear by Chick-fil-A or anything. It's just the easiest food for me to digest. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so you know what is my favorite? Like, if I would call it fast food, my favorite fast food that like should I not admit this? I don't know. You tell me. My favorite is Panda Express. So what you do is you go to Panda Express and you get the teriyaki chicken, because the teriyaki chicken, they actually pull some chicken out and cut some for you, and they're just giving you chicken, right? You get the other stuff, like I like the broccoli beef too. But when they give you the broccoli beef, usually what happens is you get like 2 pieces of beef and then the rest of it is just broccoli, right? That's no good. And you get that with a lot of them, where you just, you know, the amount of friedness and everything that you get compared to the actual meat isn't very much. But if you get the teriyaki chicken, that's like the most protein for your buck you can get. So when I was single, Panda Express was a weekly ritual for sure. Actually, I got a where do you go? One of the issues with Panda Express is that the fortune cookie quality has declined. I don't get good fortune cookies from Panda Express anymore. Like, they're not fortunes. They're like they're brown nosing cookies is what they are. They're just like you have a great personality or some stupid crap. Like, you know, it's not like here's this great thing that's going to happen to you, or here's a prediction about the future that you need to be aware of, or things like that. Nothing like that. But I did get one the other day. I don't remember which one was it was. No, it was your hard work is about to pay off in an impactful way. Last time I went to Panda Express. So I got a real fortune last time I went to Panda. There you go. The cookie doesn't know that stuff was I had heard this phrase before, but one of the other cookies, because I have this is kind of like, I don't always have it in front of me, but these are some of the things that I'm like, I want to try and remember, like current goals and like what we're trying to do and what I need to remind to do and talk about on the stream. And but one of them that I have up there is the wise learn more from fools than fools from the wise. So I because I don't do it as much, but I definitely went through a period there where I was trying really, really hard to spread the good word about the inefficiency of markets and market microstructure and complexity economics and so forth. And Reddit just wasn't having it. And I would run across the most arrogant, stubborn, crazy people. And it really does, in my opinion, come down to you got somebody that isn't really all that bright, but they've made some money, and so they think they're all that. And so I always had to remember that. Now the thing that I've been thinking about in the past week, and I don't know why, but I think, I saw this Jordan Peterson video, actually. It's funny, it was a Jordan Peterson video, but he was talking about like dark triad traits. And then he said that they had to add a fourth, which was sadism. That basically these people that have these dark triad traits, they derive pleasure from causing pain to other people or seeing the pain in other people. And I think that when you have some success, and especially when you have success in a venture like trading that most people fail at, I think that there is a real tendency to develop sadism, which is to say, not that you would cause other people pain, but you can see all of these other traders trading and having no clue what they're really doing and utterly failing from it, and it's amusing to you. It's a real thing. And I think that you need to be cautious about being pulled down that path. It's like, really, I think I talked about this yesterday. Like CEOs, like CEO's gonna CEO. Like, the thing is that when you have that kind of money and wealth at your disposal, and you have that many people, basically depending on you and looking up to you, and yeah, you're going to have a lot of sexual opportunities too. Whatever your problem is, and I don't care if your problem is that you just can't control your sexual urges, is what it ends up being for most men, or you have an anxious attachment style, so you're constantly whatever your issue is, it's gonna get brought out in some way. That's always, and you're gonna make mistakes. Always, when I look at CEOs, because some CEOs do really bad things. I mean, there have been people at the top of companies that have done really, like defraud the company and all that sort of thing, right? Like that happens. Okay. And never are we going to excuse bad behavior. And especially if you're like committing outright fraud, that's kind of like, how do you do that? There's no excuse for that. But, like a guy, they're CEO, and maybe they're partying too hard, or, they have an affair or whatever. I kind of feel bad for them, because I don't think that most people realize the like it's just like all of your problems on a different level, you know? So, yeah. So some people, their problems, they do things and they do immoral things, and then we all look at it and we say, well, if I was in that position, I would be much better. Well, I would hope that I would be better in that position, but I don't really have a problem with, wanting to have extramarital affairs or committing fraud or anything like that, right? But the reality is most people have never had to actively deal with temptation on those things. So, geez. But, if I was, a multimillionaire, I think that my, anxious attachment would probably cause problems. I don't know how that would play out or what that looks like when that plays out, because I haven't never heard, but I guarantee you it'd be. We all have the thing that you'll do, and I would probably be the CEO that everybody is like, this guy has lost his mind, he's crazy, he's saying stupid unhinged things, right? That would probably be me. Yeah, then the sex addiction comes to such. Well, and another thing you do have to keep in mind is that, in a situation like that, kind of will create sex addicts, right? That's the thing is you might say, well, I don't have problems with that. Yeah, you don't have problems with that right now. But if you're constantly going to strip clubs and entertaining extramarital affairs and things like that, it's... If I were a billionaire, I'd purposely bait hot chicks in public places into rejection just for the... So you would become a sadist, right? Okay, but you mentioned progressives. Progressives is the opposite problem. Okay, I don't think that progressivism creates sadists or creates degeneracy. I think more broadly when we talk about leftist spaces, there's degeneracy in leftist spaces. So does leftism create degeneracy? I don't think so. But what I think happens is left spaces attract degeneracy, right? These are people, they want to just do whatever crazy degenerate thing that they want without anybody judging them. And in fact, they would like people to watch what they're doing and encourage them and make them feel good about whatever degenerate thing is that they're doing. And the left has kind of positioned themselves as we accept everything sort of a thing. And so all of the degenerates go there. And so it might be that most people that are attracted to the left are not degenerates, but you have that small percentage of the population that are true degenerates are there and running amok, and then everybody sees it. And then so the left kind of enables degeneracy, right? And then because they enable degeneracy, it just takes over, and then it can pull other people in. Even though probably the amount of real degeneracy is probably still low relative to the number of people that actually vote Democrat. Get what I'm saying? Get what I'm saying? But all right, so I think the thing is everybody has their problem. Everybody has their problem. The problem that you as a trader, if you're successful, one of the problems that you will have to deal with is that you will get a little sadistic about it. You will kind of come to the conclusion that other people can't do this. And that leads to this thinking that well, I'm better than other people because I can do this thing and they can't. And I deserve it. And I deserve to be over other people. And It's okay if I derive entertainment from other people failing and not being able to achieve the things that I can achieve. That's exactly the thinking that starts to go on. Because I tell you, it's pretty inescapable when you come in here and you watch the day trading space that most people will not be successful with day trading. Most people are doing something stupid, and there's almost nothing you can do to stop them. Yeah, that's the thing is you come in with the white knight. You'll a lot of us start out being the white knight and going, oh well, this person, they're not suited for day trading. We should stop them so that they don't lose money. We should teach them why these strategies don't work and backtest all the strategies and show them why they're wrong. And we did that for a long time. And what happened? It just, nobody listens. Nobody listens. So, hey, whatever kind of failure happens to them, they deserve it. And hey, I think the thing I'm warning against is like, don't let it consume you. But listen, if Bitcoin went to zero, I would enjoy it. I would enjoy every second of it. I look at it as keeping out the competition. Yeah, maybe. But like that's the thing is if you're like a smart person and you're really going to figure it out, then maybe I don't want you to trade. I either want you here in this channel trading with us and helping improve our edge, or I don't want you trading at all, right? But if you're this type that is, you're going to come in, you're not going to listen, you're not going to look at the data, and you're just going to try and trade price action or whatever the thing is, well, there's a part of the white knight part of me that says, well, I don't want people to lose money. But then there's the other part of me that says, well, they're not going to listen to me anyways. And it helps me because that's liquidity and orders that we can potentially take advantage of, right? The more clueless traders there are in the market, the more opportunity there is potentially for the informed ones. And that is just the inescapable consequence of the way that the market works. And I would love for someday markets to be something where everybody in the market succeeds. And maybe someday it will be that, where there's just so much prosperity that anybody that comes in and does it, they're going to be successful in some way. Some more successful than others, but everybody's successful in some way. But I think we're a long ways off from that. There's probably going to be a lot of pain along the way. That's the other thing, is I tell you, if you want to be as successful, there's probably going to be a lot of pain along the way. I have definitely over the past year gone through this experience of being out of a job and having some rough times, and it completely changes you in a way that I can't even really explain. You just the old self dies and you're a different person, and you feel more connected to everything. You look at things and you can see the whole thing more. And the thing that scares me, having gone through that experience, is like, wow, that made a big difference in me. Maybe to really become the person that I'm really ultimately to become, I have to go through that a couple more times. Please, no, I don't want to do that. It sucked. It sucked. A leaf bet? I'm new here. Well, thank you for saying hi. Yeah. I tell you what, markets are fascinating thing. So we are moving back up. Well, I think that they're going to have some troubles at 23.5. And what would be the regular session high? Oh, okay. 25.5. So maybe if we're really going to have a strong uptrend, that they might slow down there a little bit. But I bet you they probably go through to that one. But were we to get to there, that's a way stronger upside than I thought we'd have. And it still seems to be driven by flight to safety. Yeah. The S&P 500 isn't terrible, but it is close to the low. So let's see how the E-mini open starts. But if the E-mini continues to sell off, then that's probably where we're going to see ES going. But I don't know. It's tough. I think that the play would be. I think that I would be leaning on the short side in ES. But the end of month flows don't seem strong enough to me, and I'm not sure that the end of month flows are a sell. So that for me says no trade in ES. But so let's just call it a gamble. It would be short. I guess it'd be more interesting if the S&P 500 were to like turn into a buy and they were really starting to recover. What the treasuries would do, how far they would move. But Larry Ellison is gonna own CNN now. Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that the Larry Ellison that owns Oracle is a different Larry Ellison from the ones Time Warner Media and everything. But I felt like the Time Warner Discovery merge was a complete disaster, and I hated everything about it. So what is the Paramount Warner Brothers combination gonna be? That's gonna be really interesting. Because you realize that it's going to be like they're going to own Harry Potter, the DC universe, and Star Trek all at the same time. Well, maybe. I'm not going to hold my breath, but maybe we can actually get a good Star Trek series going again. maybe he'll step in and say, hey, Seth Green, you're in charge now. And then we can have a good Star Trek show, huh? That would be cool. Or not, Seth Green. What is his name? What is the old Seth MacFarlane is going to be like, hey, Seth MacFarlane, you're in charge now. And then we could have a good Star Trek again. They really ruined the trust of all three of those show brands. Oh my gosh. The Harry Potter one. Oh my gosh. It looks like everything that I've heard about it so far sounds so terrible. For sure. Do you think could this, well, so you might say, because the thing is that the Ellisons are somewhat conservative, right? But the thing is the Harry Potter was not on the Paramount side. They were on the Time Warner side. So even though Harry Potter was already owned by the Ellisons, it went down the woke route. And but you know what? Sorry, J.K. Rowling is as far left as they come on basically everything except for the transgender issue. So I don't think that she really has a problem with, oh, well, let's make Snape black now, or whatever the other changes are. I can't even remember them all, but there was just a lot of other choices beyond that kind of sounded like, well, this isn't a good idea. And you know what? Well, it's not like Harry Potter was like a phenomenon, for sure. There's never been anything like it in our lifetime. Like people waiting in line around the block to get a book, a kid's book. That's crazy stuff. And the movies were fairly good and were a real event. Everybody went and saw that, right? It's not going to be that because you're not going to get everybody. All of the people that don't like wokeness and are more conservative are going to walk away. But I bet you that those lefties are going to love it. I bet you the lefties are going to love it. Which is kind of the core audience. Like, you've seen these people online. They want to compare everything that happens in real life to Harry Potter. Because at its heart, a lot of what happened in Harry Potter was kind of like, warning against conservative governments doing this, right? Gotta remember that she was in the UK, right? So like Harry Potter, and then especially V for Vendetta is basically the left in the UK warning against a conservative fascist government coming to power in the United Kingdom. It's really what it is. Bring back the Snyderverse. Okay, so I'll admit I really liked the what was it, the Snyder cut of the Justice League or whatever. But the direction that he was taking it, you're not going to make a full movie out of that. I don't think so. My complaint about DC has always been that the DC cartoons, like the Batman and Robin cartoon and the Justice League cartoon that we had like in the 90s and 2000s, were amazing. And I don't understand why they're not using those as the templates for the movies rather than something else. And Snyder had some good things, but I think in the end, the studio was right to kind of cut the cord. And then, of course, Snyder went and he made that movie. What was it called? Harvest, or not Harvest Moon? It was something Moon, wasn't it? On Netflix, which was not very good. Like, I think that it got lampooned harder than it should have because it was Jack Snyder and everything. But the reality of it was it wasn't very good. He seems to be like, I like his direction and everything, but I don't know if I want him writing it. The thing that pains me about the DC universe is I liked the actors. I liked the characters that they had. It's just the writing was just not quite there, right? But then they gave it to James Gunn, and he did a terrible job. So I actually haven't watched that one yet. I should watch that one. But my understanding is that one was like a total dud. So if you're new to the stream, that clicking sound that you're hearing in the audio is not a mistake or anything. It's a sound that we have set up that plays every time a really large order is placed on the limit in either the E-mini or the treasuries. So the reason you're starting to hear that a ton is because there are some big orders about 2 away here on the offer that are keep moving around. So they're kind of toying with it a little bit. And it seems like they're toying with it as the E-mini goes on this narrow opening range. So it's been like 6 minutes. We've got a 10-point range. I guess a 10-point range isn't that narrow, but I'm gonna bet you that a lot of E-mini traders are frustrated right now with it going back and forth and chopping. It hasn't decided which way it's gonna go yet. Now, in about 4 minutes, we are going to get the Chicago PMI. So keep in mind that's one that gets released to subscribers earlier. So you will see a market reaction before we know what the number is going to be. And that often confuses people or catches them off guard. So I always got to hit that one hard, because we always forget. Everybody forgets. Chicago PMI gets released to subscribers 3 minutes early.
Block sell.
That's our favorite setup right there, wasn't it? So Seth's favorite setup is we're just below the high, and then you see big absorption on the bid. And that it often happens before they're going to slam it through that resistance. So you might see them stack at 22.5 and then pull on 23, and then either the orders at 23 and 24 pull, or they just plow right through them. And then you get the stop run, and it kind of goes a little bit further, which could take us to that 25.5.
Block sell.
But that setup is only a reliable setup when you know that we're on a strong trend day. And right now, when we are in a very kind of undetermined market as of right now, it's not a good setup. In fact, it may kind of end up getting stuck there. But it in my testing, it's been a 50-50 when it's not a trend. So I was messing around with something last night, and I was gonna print it, and I never did. So let's do that. Don't think I'm a weirdo when I go over to go and pick something up from the printer. Okay, so I haven't seen a super strong bid at 22.5, but they did pull at 23, right? And I'm not really seeing, there was some big orders up there and they're not there anymore. Like, wasn't it 23.5 or 24 that had like almost 9,000 contracts on it? They're pulling them. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there it went as the S&P 500 made new lows. 23.5 and 24 was kind of more of the space where you might bump into some more liquidity. So we kind of have to see how they react to that. Because so far, if you had taken the setup, you'd only be up a tick, right? Well, that's weird. How come my line doesn't work in those windows, but it works on the other windows? I'm a little concerned about this space right here. Maybe if I do this. You see right there where it's like there's only 5K at 22? That's a little odd. I think I'm gonna restart G. Excellent. Oh, by the way, I wasn't paying attention. We were past the Okay, so it was higher than forecast. You would think that that would actually push the treasuries down. But it looks to me like the Chicago PMI is not a major factor at the moment. There you go. Now you can see it. So I'm a little bit concerned by this right here. What's with that? Would like to see stronger stacks there. I feel like we need to make a change here to our pen. I guess Trump is expected to speak today, huh? Oh, and let's see here. Where's the settings? Options. Or is it that I have to close this to make the options show up? No. Close. Options. There we go. Pens. And this one pen is only 80. That's too low. Let's do more like 190, 196 maybe? Now let's just go to 160. Let's try that. Yeah, that's way better, huh? Oh, and overlays. That's interesting. Well, whatever. Okay, so now no. But look, the big order is back up there. Well, so far, kind of looks like that trade has failed. So I did warn, right? I was like, in this situation, it's a 50-50. I don't want to take it. I think it would have been interesting, though, to have taken the trade anyways, to show you how to manage that one, right? It does look to me like this is being driven primarily by equity correlations. And since they pushed the lows and then they came back, that's what the equities have been puking, right? So that was a pretty good shot of showing like, okay, this liquidity is not pulling. They're not hitting into it. And it's mostly equity correlation. You got to be cautious about that. And maybe you just take the one tick. Or when it comes back down, you immediately exit at 0 or -1. Now let's see if this new guide sheet that I just printed is gonna work. Yeah, that's really good. It's a lot of lines. So and I have to cut it down to size so that it's the right size for the notebook. I wish I had a better precision cutter. I hate that I can't use the standard ATM strategy from Ninja for my DOM. Oh, well, I bet you could make it work though. I bet you could. Well, but if you there are so many issues, man. Well, so I'm actually kind of curious now. So like, let's say that I have your DOM up and I have a chart up with the chart trader on. And I go and I put a trade on the chart trader, right? So now I can see on the chart trader my position and my stop and my target and all of that sort of stuff. Your DOM doesn't update and show that. Because I think, oh, that works. That does work. It shows that. Well, what you're saying is that if I click and put an order in on my DOM, it's only going to just put an order in and it doesn't do it doesn't trigger the ATM strategy. I implemented my own. Well, I could understand if, you know, I click here and I enter an order. I'm using my own order handling logic and everything. But I think you should still be able to have access to the ATM strategies. It's probably just a lot of work. You basically have to, like, copy everything that they're doing all in the chart to make the ATM work, to make it work on your DOM, you know? Now, that's telling me that it's almost time to go. So I think you can go, can't you do like, for an ATM strategy, you can pass it an existing order, or you can like make an ATM strategy object and then you can set the various properties to the order. So then you have your order that you've created. There's got to be a NinjaTrader order in there somewhere to make NinjaTrader do something. And then you would have to create the ATM object and set all of the correct things and everything to make it. I haven't messed with that particular part of the API much, so I'm not actually sure. Wow, there you go. So I thought before I'd go, because I was thinking about it, well, let's just search for paper cutters really quick, because I want to cut that piece of paper down to size. And that's what I'm thinking about. Like, that's what I need. Okay, yeah, sure. But then, oh, look at that. Industrial paper for only $138. Huh? That looks like a beast. Labor-saving handle. Wonder if I can find a paper cutter at Office Depot. And just go there. Wow. I kind of hate leaving now because E-mini is still like practically at the open. Really quick, let's clear load. Do we get the regular session numbers now? 6824. This R-1 is like the first level that I would like really pay attention to. Yeah. And 34 is a extended session level, so there's a little bit more clicking and stuff happening. I was also wondering if maybe the dollar would give us a hint, but kind of bouncing around its open levels. So I think that there's probably some more excitement to come in the spoos, but I can't really say what it's going to be. I hope that it's a buy. I mean, I don't know. A sell would be more interesting, I guess, but I don't want the economy to fall apart, right? All right, well, good luck to you if you're crazy enough to trade spoos today. But let's see here. Some next week should be an interesting week. We get some more data and things like that. February is a short month. Also, things kind of shift after March. Like the March to May period is kind of like a little different. So Now, usually that change is not good for us, but since it's already been kind of quiet, like any kind of changes may be a good thing. So I'll see you guys then. In the meantime, stay excellent.